10-year on of the meltdown in the depths of the US banking business framework how caused a world economical upheaval. The actual issue is should we be looking behind to the recent disaster or accounting downward to the following A. In Spain, wherever both of the natural and finance scenery were changed by the aftershocks how accompanied the crash of the Lehman Brothers banking, it is probable to discover two large clichés of economical journalistic party by party. Down there are verdant young growth of restoration on the land, but down there are surely tempest clouds on the skyline. Too much. Headlines of Spain following the economical meltdown were frequently pictorial by pictures of blank flat blocks in the empty gateway of phantom towns, communities constructed in adopted cash that were neglected while developers went bosom, banks stopped credit, and families stopped purchase. Down there are yet lot to be found, but in the municipal government of Valdelas, a brief driving of Madrid, we found thing more than exciting. A phantom city that is show signs of upcoming to lifetime. The regional mayoress Miguel Cosares is in no question how he is transformation his city of a municipio de fantasma in which he telephone call a municipio estrella, a celebrity town. Surely if private power could be transformed in power, General Miguel would make quite in the year of a brief meet to force the entire city. We are just a regional by the government, so how does a regional by the government person a world meltdown, he asks. This reply is to attention on the man near thou, the man residing close thou. Miguel is a socialistic, and so for him portion of the reply to the meltdown was to use social conducting to assist main the pomp of the regional economics, though he points out how he's not just socialists who trust in social segment invest, indicating to incentive spending in the joint state to do his instance. If you solve to put to offer yours countrymen more than formation, civilization, and sport thou departure to offer them a superior quality assurance of lifetime, and these which we solved, he explains. Reliably the mechanisms of marketplace economy did their bit too much, decrease characteristic prices to do them more than appealing. But Miguel sees Valdelas as a successful history for by the government activity and argues how wherever 2 years ago 90% of the city's apartments were blank, present 90% are complete. The issue for Spain is how successful hasn't very been reiterated on a domestic scope, though, as the nation has grown up out of meltdown. On the driving behind of Valdelas to Madrid you can discover a desert extent of incomplete highway named Member of Parliament 203. The shallow of the railway was laid down, though the lanes were never noted, and electric cables hover downward of the rooftop of a partially completed duty box. It was intended to ease blood pressure on the current highway framework, the type of way draft how governments take while an economics is rapidly developing or while cash is creature adopted to increase social conducting. It doesn't see as although down there are any plans to complete it now. To go on the empty quick alley is to sense love an archaeologist of the finance collapse. And down there are lot of some signs to how Spain's restoration has a length way to go. In the outskirts of Madrid we went to a meet of Plataforma de Afectados por la Hipoteca, an organization how campaigns to halt banks foreclosing on properties wherever families can't hold up their hypothec payments. Several of the rhetorical of the activists giving a known leftward wing analyze of the meltdown. Dong ti you aware how banks dong ti pay tax and wealthy human beings dong ti pay taxation, one of them asks me, but others see the question of repossession as precise testimony how he's just too previous to say how finance meltdown is above. While I ask one female, Carmen Aguilara, if the is testimony how impoverished Spanish human beings are profitable the cost for mistakes done by rich us bankers, she replies, anything has modified, and the bank's refuge t modified. But though if you dong t get the type how the meltdown of 2008 is yet departure on, he's yet probable to be really concerned how it could reiterate himself. Banks that were recognized too much big to failure are greater rather than always by several measures, and in lot economies individual obligation has ballooned to worrisome levels. Professor Carlos Rodriguez Braun is an historiographer of economical mind who laughs out noisy while same's requested if same's a pessimist. We include a proverb in Spanish, a pessimist is a so informed optimistic, he explains. He is softly dismissive of the Valdelas pattern how enlarged social conducting in himself is the reply, if with social cash to lift consumer demand was the reply, he points of, down there'd never be any economical crisis phenomena. Professor Braun goes on to explanation how one of the key politics toolkit utilized to fight the meltdown has been qualitative weakening, a way for center banks to pump cash in the finance framework, and how in malice of its fantasy new behalf it is a change on toolkit that include been utilized in the history. Common he's precise how he is thing of a pessimist. He agrees he's a issue of while quite rather than when down there's else finance meltdown, addition just, unfortunately I don't aware wherever or while. But if you include the identical framework and recipes you had in 2007, why would you be certainly how thou not header for a new meltdown? Not everyone of year is a pessimist, if just since such a consensus would need a extent of treaty among economists, but of Professor Braun it surely feels irresistible. And it might assist to explanation why not one is racing to complete the job on Highway Member of Parliament 203.